Alright, guys. What is going on? Are we live yet? I don't know. Trying to use Streamlabs? I think we're live. Alright, guys. Alright. Looks like we are live. So there we go. We got the chat going. If you are watching this in the future, please comment down below what you want to see me work on. I got a big old 2-liter basically of hibiscus tea, and I got Omega Red, who we're going to paint the red today and clean up some overspill, and I got a few straps on his legs I got to fix, and then maybe we'll get to the tentacles. So I'll just give it a moment, see if anybody jumps in the chat, and I'll show you some of the other guys I've been working on. I have Black Widow. That is almost done. Just a little speed paint on her. She's not my favorite character. Alternate costume, Daredevil. Sort of a take on the Kill Bill jumpsuit. I think he's coming out cool. Sort of a speed paint Spider-Man. Nothing much going on there. And then we got to finish up these few, which just basically need the base. And I got the Punisher, Crossbones. I got to finish the base and the shield here on Captain America. And super strong Captain Marvel. So maybe a little more details in her face. I don't know. I think she's basically done. I'm pretty happy with her. She might have some design on her stomach there that I'm supposed to paint, and I gotta work on their base. A little more details on the bases, but looks like we will just go ahead and get started. So what I'm gonna do first on the wet palette is make a kind of mix-all medium, paint medium. I use the AK Interactive Ultra Matte in a water bottle cap. Put some in your water bottle cap. And we'll put a little bit of water in there. This is distilled water. You can get a gallon for $1 at the grocery store. And it lasts you for like a year. I only try to use distilled water on the wet palette because it helps prevent chances of mold. I think we'll just go ahead and try with the Vallejo Mecha Red. And I am going to attempt to bring this up to a fiery orange red. So what we will do is I'll put Fire or Troll Slayer orange in the little paint pot holder there just to remind me that we'll need some on the palette. This here's the Pro Acryl orange, but I don't think it's quite as vibrant. I guess we'll see side by side when we get to it. So we'll put this red out. And I think we're going to need a darker red. And just to keep things simple, I guess we'll just go with dark red from Vallejo Mecha. There we go. This Omega Red is actually base coated in the contrast paint Flesh Tearers Red. But probably not going to go back to the contrast paint for our painting here. So I do need to clean up parts where I got silver on the red. And if you watch the previous video, I'm never worried about that because I'm going to clean it up in this stage, which is the highlight stage, which is why you shouldn't probably ever worry about getting too thin coats on a model if you're going to plan on highlighting, because you don't need perfectly clean base coats if you're going to go back and highlight, because you can use that stage to fix mistakes. And we'll just start working our way. We're putting this pure red over any mistakes. Also anywhere that maybe we want to have a highlight. The highlight stage is sort of a cleanup stage as well as furthering progress on the model. And there we go. So we'll just keep working along with the red here. If you're watching in the future, comment down below. If you've had a chance to actually play this game's really good. It's got a great pace, super fun. It's a win. If you're looking for a good low model count skirmish game, I think this might be the best one out right now. At least that I've played. We got a lot of games to get in, and I might be playing this at LVO. So basically what I'm doing right now is with the pure red, I'm cleaning up mistakes and blocking in areas that I plan on highlighting. But I'm not covering up every area because I still want that dark red. And because I'm going to attempt to bring this up to a pretty fiery orange red, I want the dark areas for that shocking kind of high contrast comic book style. I'm not doing like black lining or anything necessarily like that for, say, comic style, but a lot of times comics do have high contrast in the costuming. You don't have to get everywhere underneath either, because we want that dark red to be the shadow of the red that's in the light. And what a great character if you want to play with painting some red. Character is literally called Omega Red. And he has this really nice red armor or bodysuit. Because the hand's curved like that, you can just actually get away with highlighting just sort of the top 2 or 3 fingers. And it helps show that the pinky down there is maybe more in shadow. But this isn't anywhere near our brightest red orange that we're going to. So it's okay to keep working it, build it up, you can put it down in somewhat of the shadowy areas, but don't go too crazy if you want to keep that kind of dynamic lighting. The more you put it in the shadows, the more it's going to lighten up that kind of shadowy area, which means you either got to go further on your highlights or you're just not going to have as much saturation, contrast on the finished model. There we go. So, sort of just cleaning it up with a thinned pure red. And we got him looking pretty cleaned up here. And I think that's gonna just about do it. I think this top thigh will really make that stand out red. Alright, what we'll do is we'll probably go for, say, an hour. And if nobody jumps in on the chat, we will, hopefully this is working and actually available to viewers. Let's see if, it does say I'm live on a, okay, so, but yeah, if nobody jumps in the chat, no big deal. I'll just go for about an hour so people can see the red getting painted pretty nice. And then I'll finish up my own stuff off camera. Maybe make another AdMech video. I got a few more videos I need to do for that, which has been fun. Sort of doing an AdMech master class. If you play 40K, check it out. Basically give you a solid understanding of the army, powerful units, reasons units are powerful and why you would take them, reasons why units are poor. Just all around good if you play that army, or if you're thinking about collecting it anyway. I am trying to be a little careful not to dirty up my silvers, because I got them pretty good. Alright, we're going to shake up Troll Slayer Orange. Alright, let's get some Troll Slayer Orange. Yeah, I think actually that Pro Acryl Orange is kind of like a highlight to this Troll Slayer Orange. Looks like, if you can tell there, it's got almost a deeper saturated orange. And this one's almost a little bit of a highlight there, which is actually probably going to be pretty useful. So I don't want to get too much orange on my paintbrush yet. So we'll just rinse that off. And let's see if we can't mix some of our fiery Troll Slayer Orange into our red. And we're just sort of going to hit the same areas. And this is going to start to create almost like a glow coming off the red armor. I wouldn't mind having him varnished and ready for the weekend by tomorrow night. So we're going to do this fairly quickly, I guess you could say. I mean, you could keep pushing the orange glazes, basically, is what we're doing. Orange-red glazes. You could really build up a real fiery color. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but I live in an apartment. Somebody's yelling outside. So, if anybody's watching, I don't know if you could hear those people yelling outside, but hopefully they're not killing each other. I'll be moving in August. Hopefully to a place where people won't kill each other. And there we go. So what we're doing is mixing some Troll Slayer Orange into the pure red. Getting a thinned out paint that's giving us a fiery sort of glaze that we're highlighting with. I think it's often much better to mix oranges into your reds for highlighting. Because if you mix white, or I mean yellows you could do as well, but if you mix white, you're going into sort of a pink spectrum, which, you know, if that's what you're after, go for it. But a lot of times when we paint our reds, we want to keep them super fiery and kind of that blazing hot red. There we go. And we'll just keep working our way around the model. And as we add more orange, we will reduce the amount of areas we basically are touching with our bright highlight. So like, I don't know if I'll highlight the feet much more after this. This feels like probably as bright as I need to go on the feet. You can leave the feet darker in general just because you're probably not trying to draw a bunch of attention to the feet anyway in your miniature painting. We're sort of just following the anatomy of his muscle structure. And obviously when you're dealing with a superhero, they are very muscular. Rinse my brush, just because I've been going for a minute there. Oh, we actually got a little yellow in there that time. That was an accident. I got it on the palette there, but I don't care. We'll keep moving. It'll just make it that much brighter. And we probably won't even need to go that much higher than what we're about getting right now. Hopefully it comes through at all on video. If anybody's watching live, feel free to jump in the chat. And if you're watching in the future, feel free to comment down below if you want to talk hobby, talk about Marvel, the game, 40K, whatever. So I'm not going to highlight down on his feet anymore. They're going to be bright enough. Just for that previous highlight. So we're going to sort of focus our highlights up towards the top of the model. Sort of all we're doing is just trying to make our red interesting. Definitely not about comic book accuracy or anything like that. It's, this guy is a red character. Let's see if we can make this red really pop. And then with the contrast of the dark metallics we used, we have a pretty sharp looking model, I think. I still got to paint a few straps, but that's okay. There we go. Maybe we could get that hand a little bit. Now we'll rinse the brush. Don't want to leave the brush with paint on it too long. Although because I am using my little medium here, it's keeping the brush wet. So I'm not, and a wet palette, so the paint is a little wetter than maybe normal. Although I'm not sure my wet, yeah, it's wet enough. But yeah, don't be afraid to go ahead and give your brush a rinse. You don't have to be necessarily changing colors or anything like that. I mean, It's okay to keep the brush wet. Maybe we'll take a little bit of that orange. Yeah, we got a pretty nice fiery orange here. So we'll be pretty delicate with it. Sort of just putting little blotches or dots on the middle of these muscles and panels. And that's enough to give us sort of the illusion of like a fiery, sort of high contrast armor or bodysuit. I think every time I've said armor, I've also said or bodysuit. I'm just not sure if this counts as his armor. I mean, obviously the metallic parts are armor, but let's get that really. Yeah, there we go. Well, it looks like I got some on his skin there. That was just me being sloppy, I guess. All right, there we go. And I think that's about it. See if we can't finish up the rest of them. Yeah, I think he looks pretty good. Maybe I'll bring him to the LVO 2021 and you can beat him up on the battlefield. I think we got a pretty sharp red there. Once he's matted down too, he's going to look really nice. I don't have the same wet palette that I was using last time for his skin, so we'll just fix this splotch with whatever color we got here, which actually covered it up pretty nice. Which is okay to have some variation in skin tones. And I think we want, I'm going to go with the rack hearth flesh for his straps. We'll put it actually up here. So basically, if you look at the design of the model, he's red, white, and black. And then he's just got the yellow hair. My hair, I did a little more natural, kind of blonde color, trying to basically give him a little bit of realism, I guess. But then I fired up the red on the armor. And now we got to paint the little straps. That are wrapping around his knee. And I do not like the position of them. I just know already I'm gonna make a mistake. I should have done this before the red. Just trying not to get it on the red. So far, so good. Sort of holding my breath on that inner knee, trying to get those straps. There we go. All right, we are cruising. Yeah, I might jump over to some of the other models' bases, since I gotta finish them up as well. Yeah, it's nice to practice. So, for example, if you want to practice something on a model, let's say you wanted to practice your red highlights, you could take a model like this, paint all the elements that you're comfortable with in your normal style, and then try to push yourself on the element that you wanted to practice. So let's say you were pretty comfortable with some metallics or some straps or whatever, leather straps. Then on your model, you know, spend all your extra time on the skin or the robe or the suit or the armor or whatever you're trying to work on. And it's a good way to get some practice in for painting. Alright, we got his straps, sort of this beige flesh color. Probably have to wash them down a little bit. But he does have other straps. Although, for some reason, I think they're metallic. They look maybe metallic on his card here. I don't know if those metallic straps are metallic because the box art painter was lazy, or if they're supposed to be. I think we'll probably end up leaving them because we're lazy. Cool. So we'll just make sure those straps on his leg are dry. And also having a kind of lighter color similar to his skin tone down here is going to help bring these kind of lighter colors on his skin towards the bottom of the model at his knees. You can see there from the side having that kind of skin tone there, and then a light colored strap there. I mean, there are places on like this back strap thing that you could pick out different thing. Like, I mean, it looks like maybe a leather strap with like some metal belt buckles. But the way they painted it on the box art is he's pretty much just all the straps are metal and all the stuff attached to the straps are metal. which, I don't know, I think it's fine. We just put a drop of Vallejo metal steel on our little water bottle cup. And here we're just going to clean up anywhere maybe the red got on a buckle or something. On the back of the hand, I definitely got red on those. Sort of, I don't know what there are, metal straps on the back of his hand. And since we did sort of decide that our straps on his hand are going to just stay metal, because that's easy enough and lazy enough for us, we'll go ahead and just reinforce those with this dark metal. This isn't like a painting competition model or nothing, so we don't have to stress about it. We can just have fun, get some stuff on the table, good to go. I like it. Oh, you know what I'd like to try? I'd like to try to get the little tiny emblem. Oh, I don't know if we're gonna do it. Not too bad. He has these sort of ridiculous wires going into the sides of his mouth, which I just sort of painted metal, and we'll hope that's good enough. And there, we'll just sort of clean up the bottom of these metals that maybe we messed up a little bit. Nobody's ever going to see them, but might as well clean them if you notice it. I'm just going to take a real crappy brush. This nice beat up crappy brush here. What up, Arnold? How's it going? Good morning. So I'm going to just base coat his tentacles here with this metal. And we just using the crappy brush just because we don't need any control whatsoever. We just want one coat coverage. So we're loading it up with a lot of paint. Trying to get this in one coat. It's really nice. These tentacles are one piece. But they are a little flimsy. And of course, I ran out of paint. But oh, they would have been in the way 100% if we glued them on at the beginning. I've used the Turbo Dork, some of their kind of color shift paints. I think in every case I've done it with an airbrush over like a black primer. I do actually have some of the Vallejo color shift paints. I bought a whole bunch of different colored metallic paints because the plan was all my Eldar are going to be, or were going to be, I guess I could say, different metallic colors. So like the Dire Avengers are sort of a metallic blue. The Swooping Hawks are like a metallic teal. Fire Dragons would have been metallic orange and red. And I think it's a good idea, but I just don't think I need multiple 40k armies. So I think I'll probably end up selling off the Eldar. And maybe I'll get good money for the ones I already painted. Alright, so there's that. We just need to go to a lighter color. We'll go to Duraluminum. Yeah, Turbo Dork is like a... They make all kinds of glittery... Like, here's one. It's called Motherload. It's like a... Actually, I've used this one on, I believe, like pearls. So put this one over white, and you can kind of get like that pearlescent effect. They got a ton of colors. They're color shift. This one's kind of pink to blue. I got a couple others nearby. This one's sort of just a kind of green blue metallic. They're very glittery though. And actually every bottle, it tells you for this brand, it says must be applied under a white undercoat. This bottle says black or white undercoat. So it's kind of cool. They tell you there on the bottle. They make a ton of crazy metallic colors. And I've only ever used them with an airbrush though. And I think that's the best results. And I think the best results is like, doing a coat, letting it dry, coming back in an hour, doing another thin coat to sort of build up. Alright, these tentacles are probably too spindly and thin. Oh, I'm not even painting on camera. To dry brush. So we're just sort of half-assed trying to get some lighter silvers on them. We don't have to cover everything because we want some variation in it. And we'll get some anywhere where we're handling the thing rubs off the paint, which is nice. Then I think what we'll actually do is probably glue them on and then maybe apply like a wash to them or something. This character does have sort of a poison pheromone ability and radiation. So originally my idea was to maybe play with putting some hints of green into these tentacles, which I don't think is a terrible idea. Let's do a fun one while we let that dry for a second. We're going to put some red contrast on Captain America's shield. And we'll try Blood Angels Red. I think honestly if you're going to pick a contrast paint from GW in a red, go ahead and just go with Flesh Terror Red. I think the darker red has more utility, but we're going to do Blood Angels Red because it's also nice to use up colors you might not use that often. So we got Captain America here. We'll put the little rings around his shield. Yeah, I could maybe use like a green metallic paint or something and use that to maybe try to get a tint on the like a radioactive tint on the metal. Oh boy, I can already tell this is going to look awful. Because I'm Well, it might look okay. I don't think it's going to look that good, though. And actually, thinking about it right this second, I probably should have put some either highlights or white streaks in the silver. That way when this transparent red goes over the silver, those white streaks could show up as like a sort of a reflection. But we didn't do that. Also, he does have white stripes on his stomach, but I mean, they're so hard to see. I'm not confident that they're going to look good. I think it goes red, white, white with a blue star. I don't know, maybe I should look it up, but we already started this other red circle, so. Hopefully this silver paint on my glove from handling those tentacles is dry and not rubbing off all over Captain America's little blue suit. Oh yeah, I really did not stay in the lines on that at all. That looks awful. I guess he probably just has a blue star. Alright, we'll put a blue star on. First blue we grab Talisar blue, which is like the brightest contrast blue, I believe. That's incredible how bad I'm doing. I mean, the star is lifted off the shield, yet I managed to not... I mean, I just got it all over. Oh well. Just something we'll have to clean up now with the silver paint. Alright, we'll leave Captain America off screen to dry a little bit. I think maybe we can give... Oh, I should close this blue. Even with that little paint pot holder, you want to not get too crazy. I think we'll give Punisher... This probably can't even be seen. But putting just a couple little extra highlights on his face. And maybe the top of his shoulder. Alright, there we go. Yeah, these little finishing touches probably aren't visually great for a stream. But it's kind of nice to put a few extra little highlights on your skin if you got some paint on the palette that sort of lines up with the colors on these models like mine does right now. So why not give them that little extra pop? Too much there. Sort of just kind of wet my brush and then sort of smeared it away. That way it's not too crazy, but looks good. He's done. Maybe a touch. There we go. Now he's done. Just a touch of highlight on the straps there. Cool. There we go. And we gotta do some basing stuff. Yeah, with the color shift paint though, I like to use it with the airbrush just sort of as the base coat and then go from there. I don't think it would even show up noticeable on the tentacles. Certainly not noticeable on camera, maybe in real life. But I think we'll take P3 Thamar Black, which is sort of my go-to black when I'm doing bases. Let's see if we can't. Do we got a water bottle lid around? Sort of just block in the top black rim, then I'll let that dry, and then I'll do the actual side of the base black as well. I got some boxes to test coming in the next day or so for shipping. I also got a cricket jumping around my feet, so hopefully he doesn't startle me and put a big wash of black across something I already finished painting. Alright, we're gonna have to repeat that a couple of times. I know that's not exactly fun to watch, but gotta get it done. Actually, I made a mistake. What I should have done is base coated Omega Red's base. Oh, because it's not even base coated yet. And now he's almost done. I think I'll do that now, that way it can dry while I'm doing this more tedious part. I think we're just going to go ahead and use a black contrast paint, Black Templar. And we'll get out that beat up brush and just kind of load it on. Hopefully careful around the foot. A lot of these guys, I think it's just easier to paint the base separate, but because I was doing him on stream, or planned on doing him on stream, I wanted to have him on a base just to show it, I guess, while working, but so the black contrast is an pretty expensive just paint for a black base coat on a base, but because I got like rocks and stuff glued on here, it's at least going to flow nicely into the crevices. That way I can sort of slop it on, get kind of a one coat coverage. And using a crappy brush, I can just stab it into any hard to reach areas. Don't care if it ruins the brush, because the brush is already so bad to begin with. I don't think it can be ruined any further. You could use like an old, maybe size 6 ghost brush if you got one that you feel is on the way out. Also, I guess you could just like water down black paint. Let me know in the chat if you hear the cricket. I can hear him chirping, half expecting him to jump up on the table and run through the wet palette or something. That'd be fun though if the loud crickets ruin my sound on my stream. Although I'm not sure the sound's all that spectacular anyway. Alright, back to that slightly tedious painting black rims. I need to be a little more careful, because on Captain Marvel there I was getting sloppy, which means I'll probably have to clean that up. I'm trying to get these done and varnished in the box, ready to play this weekend. I mean, I definitely put in a lot of them. I paint a lot of them like at the same time, and they're kind of speed painted. It's not speed painted with like made up time frames like some people say on their speed painting videos, where they're like, oh, this took 11 minutes. But speed painted, like, you know, I sat down on a Wednesday night with some friends at the game store and knocked out like 4 Marvel characters in a couple hours. Not 100% finished, but, you know, a good way there. And then I just sort of got to do the bases. I got Black Widow here, which some buddies were talking about the movie, and curious if you had a chance to see it, what you thought of it. Some people just kind of said, yeah, it was okay. Nothing special. Because she's actually on a little handle here, I'm going to go ahead and paint the rim as well, since I don't have to physically hold the rim. There we go, Black Widow. Really excited about my alternate color scheme Daredevil here. I think he looks cool. Nobody's going to know who he's supposed to be, but don't care. Sort of had a plan of a the Bruce Lee Kill Bill style jumpsuit. And I think it came out pretty cool. Plus he has kind of an old yellow and kind of red costume, which is like I think his original costume. So seeing him in yellow is not too out of the ordinary. And instead of a red, I use sort of a gray blue. Or instead of like the black stripes on the jumpsuit, got sort of that gray blue, which I think looks pretty good. Get Spider-Man just around the top of the rim here. Looks like we're going to need multiple coats on Spider-Man, so I'm just kind of slopping this in. He's pretty far from being done, but I got kind of the blue and red base coated in a bit. Use some Death Shroud Clear to try to sort of black line his webbing, at least create some depth around it. Alright, yeah, no problem, man. Thank you so much for checking in. Have a good day. I'll probably turn off the stream in a bit, just because it looks like some of the stuff I'm going to be doing now is more tedious, and I need to let things like washes on bases dry, so, and glue those tentacles onto Omega Red and then work on them. So I think we'll probably call it here. We went about 1 hour, worked on some Marvel, got a nice red going on Omega Red. And I bet those tentacles are dry enough to glue them on. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see everybody in the next one. Please like and subscribe the videos, and can't wait to see you all in the next stream or in the comment section below.